Are you
Hello,
recording?
hello, everyone. Right, bright and early, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome, welcome. This is our non-technical and technical row session in data and tech. So please, guys, drop your names, drop your LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with everybody in the group chat whilst I also let everyone else in.
Also, let's put our cameras
Yes,
on.
guys, I don't want no blank faces. Please, cameras on if you can.
Even if you're eating, it's okay. If you're lying down, honestly, if you've got a snuddy on, it's fine. Like, I've got this jumper on and shorts underneath. Yo, I've got these glasses on because I'm tired, you know? It's okay, guys. I don't even have a proper parting in my hair. I've been wearing a hat all day. Come on, cameras on. It just makes the energy better. That's all.
Yes, guys. You can keep coming in. I think some people are in the waiting room as well. Come in, guys. Please put your cameras on if you can, and connect with each other. I'll be dropping my LinkedIn. I will not be shy. Dropping my LinkedIn. But guys, please connect with each other. That's the reason why we're here, to get to know each other, connect, and have opportunities. But I'll wait until 75 till everyone comes in, and then we can start. Great. There's loads more people coming in as well. Guys, feel free to drop your LinkedIns. Turn on your cameras if you can. And we'll be starting soon. Okay. We can make a head start now, since there's no one waiting in the room right now. So Vanessa, I'll hand over to you.
Hey guys, how are you doing? It would be great if I could see some faces. It does make, interaction better. But if you want to have your cameras off, that's okay. But maybe I can even talk about that in my session today. But if you guys don't already know, I'm Vanessa, your favorite technical project manager. Um, I've been doing this for a while now. Sorry, it's so no, this is actually now I feel I understand what my manager says because me too, I'm the one that has the camera off sometimes. But yeah, that's me. I've been doing project management for a while now. Absolutely love it. If you don't already know, like some of my, I guess my journey, I always say it's not that linear. It's very I didn't just fall into this position, but I mean, I did have a completely different background. I didn't go to university. Well, I did, but I didn't finish. I like left because it just wasn't for me. So I did try it out because I'm from Africa. So, you know, you have to go to university. I went to do law at BPP, but yeah, it just wasn't a bit of me. So I left and I said to myself and to my mum, babes, like, trust me, I'm the first daughter. I'm here to lead a good example, but this is just not for me. I just can't learn this way, and this is actually just not what I want to do. I want to do what I want to do, sort of thing. So she said, you know what, fine, like prove yourself, sort of thing. So I proved myself. I went out to work, did software engineering as an apprenticeship instead. I am very pro apprenticeship because you get to learn on the job, so you've got work experience. You're able to get paid at the same time. Um, you know, 80% chances after the apprenticeship is you'll get, you know, offered a job and you won't be in any debt. So I am pro apprenticeship. I do think apprenticeships now are way better than how it was back in my day. I'm not that old, but back in my day, apprenticeships was only like for plumbing, hairdressing, um, like things of that sort of nature. Not so much like you could never do an apprenticeship in a bank. Like that was unheard of. But small banks were, you know, doing that. So I did that. Found it great. Then I went to do so yes, I was a software engineer for a while, and then I said, oh, do you know what? This is not a bit of me. I kind of want to be a bit more client facing. I don't just want to deliver the product for you and have no interaction with anyone. I just thought this doesn't suit my personality. So research, and I found out about project management. And I was like, so how can I kind of get here? As a software engineer, I didn't see like a clear route. It was quite difficult. I thought it would be quite difficult because I'm just technical focused, but I didn't really have as much people skills. I didn't really have that much people skills, I would say, or like be able to communicate effectively, or, you know, to be able to like analyze data, all of those things. Basically, like, you know, like office, like proper office skills or whatever. I didn't really have that. I just knew how to, you know, give me something to do and I'll do it for you and I'll deliver. So I went out, so I left, took that risk as well again, and I went into real estate, very random, but that's the first job I was able to get. So I said, I'm going to milk the opportunity and get whatever I can from that. So I started off as a lettings administrator. Not long after that, I became a property manager, and I, you know, went up to that to be a senior. But that allowed me to learn how to work with people in office, learn how to speak, how to communicate, learn how to take ownership of things. You know, I was managing properties for landlords, so that was very, it was yeah, it was like a lot of pressure. It was, you know, I had a big responsibility, that sort of stuff. I've learned to deal with people, how to, you know, gather requirements basically, because even if tenants, there's a certain property that they want, I have to be able to get it for them. If there's a sort of tenant my landlord wanted, I'll have to you know, source that person for them. I was able to negotiate. I was able to, you know, get people to do things at the right time. As I'm speaking, basically there was a lot of transferable skills that I found that I was able to use. Um, Thank you. Hey, SA, thank you for putting your camera on. Nice to see you. If it was an accident, don't turn it off. Yeah, so that allowed me to I was able to use those transferable skills to apply for project management roles, and then I was able to literally get into project management. And it's very funny because some would say, okay, but how, like, even with that, how did you do that? Honestly, I kind of have the gift of the gab as well. So I do say, like, into my interview skills is kind of what helped get into that as well. I was able to like just let the company know, look, you kind of have to be ballsy. That's something that I've learned anyway in the working world. I was like, look, here I am. You've obviously seen my CV. You like me. I'm telling you what I can do. Give me the opportunity to prove it. If not, you don't even have to wait for probation to finish. Let me go. Like, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. But I was able to show them that I could deliver everything that it is that they asked for in the job description. And that gave me confidence. So when you're able to do that, you're confident even in your interview. So it was a thing where, well, the ball is in your court now, and you never act desperate. You never act like you need the role. Like, you're like, I've got other things pending, sort of thing. So it was kind of like that. And then I was obviously given the opportunity, and that's where my career sort of started. But obviously once you start, you know, you're working with grown people, because there was no project managers my age. How old was I? Sorry, I think I was like maybe 25, 24. But that was like sort of unheard of sort of thing. And I didn't even go in as a junior. I didn't start as a junior or anything. I started straight as a PM, but I was starting on little projects basically, but not on that junior level. But I would say it kind of is. I on myself put it on my CV as that, because that way just kind of made more sense, if you kind of get what I mean, when you're trying to like grow up. But yes, I've done that and I've been doing that since. And I was working in a bank, investment banking, but within IT. So working on a lot of IT projects. the whole digital transformation that was big and trending back then. So that's what everyone was doing. So I was working on parts of that, building cloud databases and doing cloud migrations, a little bit of cybersecurity, but very much so infrastructure and like cloud-based projects, but a lot more infrastructure because yeah, we're trying to build infrastructure. So that's where the IT side and the technical side comes, because obviously because of my background as a software engineer, I was able to understand the technicalities of the infrastructure, and then I obviously learned the behinds of that. So now I was able to become a technical PM. But I guess the difference between titles is you can just be a project manager. That's just literally when you're just delivering the projects, but the technical side comes when you actually know it's a bit of a better title. You're just expected a bit more. Obviously more salary. You're just you're just not better, but you're better because you know technically what it is that we're doing. So I guess that's where the title comes. And I say IT because that's where I'm focused. So no, I don't work in tech. I'm not in that category. I do feel like people get confused with tech, working in tech and having a tech role. I have a tech role, but I don't work in tech. And I think people should also be like, I don't know, should be a bit more understanding of what that whole tech thing is, because I know it's a buzzword now, but it's not everything. So tech is technology, right? And technology has so many parts to it. Like I said, you've got infrastructure, you've got data, you've got cloud, you've got networking, like so many bits of it. You can work within that. So you can work at technology. But I've noticed a lot of people just want to work for a tech company. So those are companies that are like, Meta, the software companies and blah, blah, blah. That is working for a tech company. But I can be a cleaner in a tech company and I can tell you I work in tech. It's true, right? So it's a thing of, don't just want to work in tech. Have a tech role, have a good role maybe within the technical company is that you want to work in or whatever. But I mean, there's more than tech, because as quickly as tech went up, it's going to come down. So that's my take on it. So I say don't get too hyped up in this whole tech thing. I do think there's a lot more security in finance, sustainability, energy, all of those things. Like, don't knock those companies down. That's my opinion anyway. If you're working for a tech company, you're not technical, you're not valued. Like you can be gone easy. That's my take on. That's what I've learned, and that's my take on that. So if you want to work in tech, learn something technical. You don't have to be a project manager, but I'm saying you have to be valuable. Otherwise, you're the first people to go. But yeah, that's my journey. Short and sweet. You've probably heard it a few times. I've also got a lovely colleague here who actually works at HSBC, boop boop, and I think she'll be able to, tell you what she's got going on, what she's been doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vanessa. It's nice to meet everyone. Hi, Mariam. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Pamela, Leanne, Donna. Thank you all so much for joining. My name is Dew. I work at HSBC as a data analyst. I'm currently in a grad program. So a bit about myself. I went to UCL. I studied biomedicine. How I got into HSBC was through a charity known as Generating Genius. I don't know if you've heard about it before. So Generating Genius is a charity that the goal is to increase the number of Black students in universities, in top universities, and to help them secure graduate program roles in organizations like HSBC, JP Morgan, really top organizations. So they partnered with HSBC to run a graduate role preparation program where they teach you how to apply, how to tailor your CV, like interview workshops, things like that. So I attended the program and I was able to gain the skills I needed to secure a graduate role currently, thank you, God. So currently I am a graduate in the digital innovation. Hi, Khalid, thank you for turning on your camera. Hi, Essay Bassi. So yeah, currently I'm working as a data analyst in the Digital Innovation Graduate Program for 2 years, after which I will roll off to a more permanent role in HSBC. So currently I work in the Global Operations and Automations Technology Department. It's a mouthful, I know. Let me just summarize what we do. So my department, we focus on making the bank's processes smoother and faster by using technology. So for example, when someone needs to, I don't know, change their home address, for example, you've moved houses and you need to change your address. So you would go into the bank branch and you would fill out a form with your name, your email, your phone number, your old address and your new address. So in the past, a bank staff would have to manually type in your new address into the system, and that left room for a lot of errors. Things like they could make a mistake with your address and they could make a mistake with the postcode, things like that. So the role of my department is to digitize, is to make this process more efficient using technology. So we created an app that can scan the documents into like a PDF format and automatically fill out the addresses. So this stops the reduces room for human error. That's just an example of the many things that we do in my department. So I'm actually currently based in Sheffield. I had to move to Sheffield for my job. Oh, I'm from London, right? I was raised in North London. I went to school in North London. I went Edmonton. I don't know if anyone knows Edmonton, but yeah, that's kind of my ends. So I moved here like 3 months ago now, and I'm still kind of adjusting to Sheffield. It's like it's smaller than London, but it's not as, I don't know, rural as I thought it would be, but it's actually a very nice city. So I'm still in like the adjusting phase. So currently I'm in the first 6 months of the graduate program is training. So I'm currently gaining a lot of skills in data analysis. I'm gonna gain a lot of skills in Microsoft Excel, Power BI. I don't know if you've heard of it before. I also learn a lot of things in terms of how to analyze huge data sets. And I'm still learning to work in a team that have people in Poland, Hong Kong, China, Mexico. There's people, it's 3 p.m. my time, but it's 8 a.m. their time. So there's different time zones. So you have to be mindful of that when you're speaking, when you're in a team that's a global team. So that's one of the things that I really like about working at HSBC. There's people from all over the world. You get to meet them, you get to learn about their culture, what it is that they do, and how they contribute to the team as well. So yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. I went to, like I said, I went to UCL. I studied cancer biomedicine. I did cancer research for 3 years. And during my 3 years, I did an internship at Cambridge where I worked in a lab for 2 months, and I was just doing pipetting and I was just doing all sorts of science research. I worked in the Department of Zoology and I was working with fruit flies. I did not enjoy it. And the pathway of my degree was that I was going to have to do a master's and then do a PhD, become a scientist. And when I was there, I was working with other PhD students and I was watching them because you have to be passionate about it. The biomedicine, if you're not passionate about it, it's going to be more difficult. So the PhD students, you have to dedicate 5 years of your life to studying one protein, for example. You have to be really passionate about it. And I wasn't. I was being very honest with myself. I did not enjoy reading science papers over and over again, literature. It was good sometimes, but mostly I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So after I did that internship, I was like, okay, now I know that this is not for me. So once I graduated, I started to do courses outside science. I started to explore other fields. So tech was one of the fields that I was exploring. I did a coding course on Codecademy. I did a course in bioinformatics. I did a data analysis course. I learned how to use SQL, Tableau. I learned how to use Python, like a beginner course. So these things, I was more interested in these things than my degree. Hence why I decided to go for the current role I'm in right now. So yeah, if anyone asks why I decided to divert from my original degree. But yeah, that's my short, that's me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. From even this little bio and this little explanation about your journeys and how you got to where you are, there is so much insight into your journeys and into the industries that you're in. So we're gonna go into the Q&A now. Guys, like I said in the chat, please drop in your questions. But we will start with the questions that you guys already sent in. So for Vanessa, I know you mentioned at the start you had a lot of transferable skills from the different jobs that you've done. what would you say are the top transferable skills that has helped you land the role that you're currently in right now?
When it comes to project management, I think people first of all understand what it is, right? Right now it's a glorified word, right? And everyone's like, what would you actually do? Let me tell you, guys, I probably glamorize it more than it should be online because that's how online is, you know? And I'm honest about it. But we're glorified babysitters. I am literally a organizer, a planner. I am planning your wedding for you. So that's literally what I am basically. And project management is where you are managing the process of something. So there's a process, for example, like Do You said, love your name by the way. Do You said she, like, for example, her company found a way to digitalize, putting, like, changing the address for if a customer wants to change their address. So that system that they built, that will come to me, the project manager, and I have to ensure that that system is implemented in the business successfully and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So what does that mean? I have to gather the requirements. So what do we need the system to do? Who am I going to get that information from? I don't know the customers, the people that are actually putting it in. Who do I need to actually build this? I need to go and, get them on my roster, stuff like that. The whole thing, literally, at that, the best example I give is building a house. You're building a house. I am literally building that. I'm not physically doing it, but I'm making sure that that is done, sort of thing. And we have different frameworks to get that done. So I would say the top 3 transferable skills is you have to be able to show in your current role, that you are managing processes. So whether that is, I don't know, it could be anything. You're just managing a process. So something that has a start and a finish, something that is unique and time bound, that is a project. You have BAU, which is business as usual, which is the things that you are doing day to day. That is not a project. A project is something that is taken out of that day to day, and we need to do it by this day and time. So if you're able to show that, that's one thing. Another thing is communication. You need to be able to communicate with stakeholders, internal, external, high, low, whoever. You need to be able to communicate with people. So if you're not confident in speaking, if you don't like, holding meetings, conducting meetings, talking to people, I always say you don't have to be like a people's person. But if you're more introvert, then it's definitely not for you. If you're someone that doesn't like to talk to people, basically, it's not for you. So you have to be able to communicate. If you're someone that just wants to type all day, not even people to see that you're in, then it's not for you. So that's another one. And then the third one I would say is you need to be organized. So organized in however way you like to be organized, but you have to be organized. That is, yeah, I think that's what I would say you'd have to show the most. Oh, and sorry, one more. Project management is one thing, but where you are trying to work, like the projects that you're trying to manage, is another. You need to have experience in the projects that you want to manage. So, for example, I'm IT, and I've only worked in finance or whatever. That's where I've got the most amount of skill, years of experience. I cannot just go and get a project manager role in a construction company, even though I've been a project manager. It's not going to work because I don't have experience within construction, within buildings, within, how that whole process is. And that is where I see a lot of people struggle and, they get frustrated. Have experience in the types of projects you want to work on.
Thank you so much for that. Okay. Just off the back of that question, like you, for example, you have experience in finance, but let's say you want to go into construction. What advice would you give for someone looking to make that leap in terms of gaining experience and looking to show that they're qualified for that role?
You have to start from the bottom. A lot of people don't want to start from the bottom, and I get it, but it's just the L you have to take. That's why I always say to young people, do everything, job hop, make mistakes, especially if you're not entirely sure of what there's people that know exactly what they want to do. So probably job hopping, like, there, do you know what I mean? It's different. It's a different. But if you're someone that is in a field that's not so strict, like doctor, there's only one way to be a doctor, and to be a doctor, job hop. So start from the bottom, go and work in a construction company as an administrator, office manager, as something, data analyst, as something that obviously requires value, but within that company. So that way you can learn how that industry works. You need to learn the industry. That's the best thing for you to do. So whatever that role is, Google is your friend. Go and ask Google, what is the entry level role to go into finance? Is everyone not a data analyst? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Is that's the best, you're immersed in the business. You're gonna know, you're immersed. Do you know what I mean? You have a relationships with everyone, you speak to everyone, you know how the business actually runs, and that's what you need to go and do and then to learn. And that's how you make the transition. And that's in anything. So even now, if I, for example, let's say I wanted now to go and do construction, I'm not going to go and start at the bottom, no, because I'm like, I've got quite a few experience in what I do. But what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to go take a course. I'm going to go, maybe I'll take a step down. Do you know what I mean? But I'll probably go and do a course. I will find another way. Can I go in as a, what is a role that is again, this is Google, so I'm going to have to go and Google and get this, but what role is just under what it is that I do now that will give me that experience to do? Do you know what I mean? It might not be project manager, but it might be
internships as well. Internships, yeah.
Internships are great, but it might be something else. Maybe be a site engineer. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would say.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna head to do now because you've come from the university really not knowing what you doing something completely different and then paving the way into what you're doing now. How was that transition? How was that journey? I know you speak a little bit about that, but maybe expand a bit more on students that maybe are currently in a position like you were and are maybe scared to take that leap to actually make that transition.
Making the transition, that's a good question. So my background is in STEM, is in science research. So my degree is in biomedicine, and now I'm working in data as a data analyst. So I knew that around my second year of university, I knew that I wasn't going to continue down this path of biomedicine because I did an internship. So being honest with yourself is very important. Be honest if you actually enjoy your degree, if it's something you want to do for the rest of your life, because you're going to be doing this for a lot of years. So I knew that I do not want to be doing science research for 30 plus years or 20 plus years or however. So I decided to look at other avenues that were also good careers to have. So I did research. I did some courses on data analysis. I did coding. I did Python. I just did a lot of online courses to see what I would enjoy and what would actually be something that I want to have a career in. So I didn't enjoy coding as I did coding and I learned how to make a website. I learned how to use HTML, CSS, Java, but I didn't want to become an engineer. So I knew that was not for me. So I went and I did a data analysis course. So the transition was fairly smooth for me because I knew that I was honest with myself. I didn't want to do science research and I knew I wanted to do data analysis. So I would say that just being honest with myself and knowing what I want to do and pursuing that is honestly the best thing I would say.
Thank you so much. There are some questions in the chat I'm gonna ask. Did you speak to anyone in regards to your curiosity to get in the role, or was it just mainly based off of interest?
Is that for me? Sorry.
Yes, I think at the start you mentioned you found yourself interested in data and tech, and you just kind of went off on that. So was it just mainly based off of interest, or did you kind of speak to people and try to get to know if this was like the right thing for you?
So yeah, I did speak to people already in the field. So I had a mentor that worked in a finance company as well. And she told me basically her day-to-day life and what it is that she did. So like I said, I was part of a charity called Generating Genius, and they really helped Black students to get into universities and get into grad programs, grad roles. So one of the programs they ran was called Black Women into Tech, where you'd get a mentor working in the field that you want to get into. So my mentor was a software engineer actually at a finance company. So I spoke to her. I told her, oh, I'm interested in this field. What do you do? She just told me what she did on her day to day. She told me that just because you work in tech doesn't mean you have to be a coder. There's other things you can do as well. You can work in data as a data analyst. There's data visualizations. There's a lot of other roles available You don't have to be coding, right? That's what she said to me. There's other things you can do. I said, okay, that sounds like something I'm interested in. So yeah, I had a mentor. She was, God bless her, she was very helpful for me. And then that's how I was able to make the transition.
Thank you so much for that. For Vanessa, are there many opportunities for progression within your role?
I think a lot of people, kind of depends on, there is, but it's either you're in or out, if I can explain it. So it depends how you want to progress. So you've obviously got, you can progress in terms of seniority. You can progress in terms of, I don't want to work on maybe just like little projects. Maybe I want to manage a program. So you can become a program manager. That's, or you can progress to be a portfolio manager where you manage portfolios. So these are all things within a project, but they're seen at a different level. Some would say it's higher, like you see it on a higher level. So I would say project manager is probably at the lowest in the sense of your responsibility is the least, but you're doing the most. And then you've got portfolio, I kind of forget, but you've got portfolio managers that manage, like let's say you're building a train station, like a line, like a northern line. The portfolio manager will probably manage like what I'm doing, Elephant and Castle, I'm doing Bank. They're managing different parts of the portfolio, but even though it's one, and then you've got the program manager, which is managing the whole line. Something like that. So they're managing the whole line. So they need to make sure that the whole line is done. Then you've got the portfolio that is managed. They're managing different stations, and then you've got project managers that will be managing within the station. So that's just like on a massive scale. So you've probably got project managers that are just handling, well, I'm going to do the tracks. So you can have more than one project manager on a project as well. It depends how big and how small it is. Yeah. And then oops, sorry guys, I'm at home. And then you've got hold on, are you coming in? Sorry guys. Yeah, so you've got that. So you can either progress in that way as well, or you can come out of it and progress in terms of, oh, I was working on a project in cybersecurity. Now you can go off and do whatever it is that you want to do within cybersecurity. Or I was working on a project in digital marketing. Now you can come out of like now you can go within digital marketing. So that's different ways you can progress, if that makes sense. But because you're still, the skills that you learn are so much and they're so useful if you really keep them and what's the word, like grow them, you can go and literally do anything. Honestly.
Thank you so much. So just
Right.
maybe you and Vanessa as well, you guys can have a bit of add-ins into this question. So a question, I'm in my final year doing marketing management. I did a project management module, which I enjoyed. I've had a lot of mixed answers when it comes to getting into project management. Some say you need a certification or to complete a course to get a role. Others says you don't. What advice would you give for entry roles or grad schemes?
Okay. Something I would say is today was not like yesterday, guys. Before, let me say 3-4 years ago, you could do jobs without any experience and they would take you on. The truth is, you cannot do that now. So yes, you've got us on TikTok saying, yes, I did this with no experience 5 years ago. Yes. And that's to grab you in, obviously. Do you know what I mean? It's a good catch. And that's the situation everybody wants to do now. Everybody just wants to get in the role without having to do the work. But businesses have now clocked the system and they're like, no, like we're wasting money on, it's not even wasting money. Businesses don't want to waste money on having to train people anymore. They've already done that big catch, do you know what I mean? But business is not going to grow if they're having to train everyone, but paying them as if they've got 3 years experience. That stuff is not going to work anymore. So I'm saying forget that whole lose that mind. And this is with anything you want to do. I say, come off that mindset of, I want to go and do this without experience. Go and get experience. Go and get it. Go and do a course. Like I'm saying, you don't have to go to university now, but if what you need to do requires you university and you have the time to go to university, go to university. If not, go and do an apprenticeship. If not, go and do a boot camp. Go and do a short course. But with project management, I'm saying you do not need a certification first, because experience is what they care about more. So they want to know that you can physically do the job before you are qualified to do it. So that's my answer to that. But if you've got the money, you've got the time, do it if you want to. But that does not mean you're going to get the job because you say I have a certificate. They can put it on they will advertise it, yeah, preferred, or they want it. But guys, in the interview, they will not ask you whether you have it or not. They won't. They're not checking for stuff like that. I'm saying the certification does not hold as much value as the actual experience. What the certification, but you should do it, because eventually that certification is what's going to make you get paid like more and more and more, if you kind of get what I mean. Then after a point, once you've got enough years, like 5 years on your CV, they don't give a damn whether you have the certification or not, because you've been doing it. So that's my take. Go and find the experience, go to university, do all of these stuff. Don't be trying to get into something without any experience.
I think you have a hand up, Khalid.
Oh yeah.
Hi, just a quick question. Because you were saying something about along the lines of, go to university if you've got that. So in a situation where you've gone to university, you've done your masters, you have somewhat of an experience, but you're not getting those roles, what next? Or what
As a project manager
um
or in general?
well,
I think in general, right?
yeah, in general.
I think you need to, like, let's all be honest with ourselves, right? So again, it depends what you want to do. So let me just use this project manager as an example, but let it fit your career and what goal it is that you have. You've gone to uni, you did business management, or you did law, but I want to be a project manager and I want to work in I want to do softwares. I want to work, working on software projects. You've done that. I even did a master's. I did my master's in communications, and I'm just chatting, right? And then you went to go and you work. I work in I don't know. I work somewhere, right? A lot of us have retail jobs. I work in retail, or I'm an office manager, office assistant somewhere. Ask yourself, if you brought that to, to yourself, saying I want to do this job, would you think that person's qualified? No. So what do I need to do to then make myself qualified? So if you're someone you're not in university and you want to go to university, study something that is going to help you to get to what it is that you want to do, right? So let's say you want to work in technology. That's the example I'm going to give. Study something technical. So whether it's not computer science or IT technology, learn something that is actually learn something technical, network solutions, learn to code, learn if there's a module on actual data, like those sort of things. Learn technical stuff, Google what technical courses are or technical roles are, and learn that. And then when you come out of that, go and get a job based on that technical thing that you've learned. Within IT and tech, a lot of the best places to start is in help desk. That's the best place to learn. Help desk, IT support. That is the best entry level role that I'm going to tell everyone. It doesn't matter what you want to do, even if you want to be a software engineer, even if you want to be a cybersecurity consultant, whatever it is that you want to do in IT and tech, start as a IT support help desk. If you can do that, that job, yes, is boring, but you are learning everything to do with. You're learning everything. You're solving people's problems. That's one thing. And within technology, we solve problems. We're problem solvers. all software developers are problem solvers. Project managers are helping you solve the problem. We're actually, implementing the problem solving part. But everyone else that works within that whole team, they're problem solvers. That's all businesses do. We want to solve problems. So you have to be able to, that's one of the biggest skills that you have in tech, is being able to solve a problem. So that's the entry level role, I would say, to go in. Whatever, and they will take anybody. You do not need to have any background in anything. They will take you. You can just say, one day I turned on the computer and I found out, wow, I wonder how this turns on by just pressing the button. No, literally, that is enough. And they'll be like, wow, yeah. That's how you need to get it. Like, wow, like, you need to be like, wow, I'm really, how does wireless mouses work? Like, how? Even ask yourself, how does it work? I want to know more about it. Those sort of things is going to make them want to, like, yeah, let's take you on, we'll teach you whatever. But yeah, that's the best. I hope that's answered your questions, because when I talk, sometimes I go a bit too much. But
Yeah. No,
I
I
think,
think
yeah,
you've covered
yeah,
very much.
it
Yeah.
needs, what you do needs to relate to what it is that you want to do. Otherwise, you're just making things harder for yourself. Like, you don't have to do that now. A lot of us have made not those mistakes, but we've done that for you. So I always tell people, don't follow my route. Don't follow it. Go and actually be qualified to do it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Especially in the time that we're in now, where it's harder to find jobs, right? Everyone's looking, but it's hard. They want to pay people less, but to do the roles of 5 people. So clearly you can see they want people that are experienced and people that are qualified. So go and do that. And it might seem long because you're like, I don't want to sit there studying for 12 weeks for this thing. Do it, because not everybody wants to do it. So not everyone's going to do it. So you will be chosen, because you've done it, you're going to be part of that small pool that will, reap the benefits of doing it. Everybody wants a quick way out. I do. I don't want to work hard, guys. I don't. I want to click my fingers and I want to make X amount of money and have a good life. But I've learned, in order to do that, I have to work. I actually have to kind of put in the work, especially like now, now, because now everybody's in the pool of wanting to work, and you've got thousands of us that don't go to university now. So now we're taking jobs. So like, you've got more people that don't want to go to university now. So that means there's even more people looking for jobs. Do you get it? Whereas when people go to uni, there'll be jobs there, but those that weren't, they'll be able to get those jobs. But because not everybody's not going, there's too many of us on that one role. So that means we need to find us a way to make ourselves look better. And the only way to do that is with qualifications, not necessarily like, certificate, but you need to show that you're better. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Dee. That's so informative and like insightful to know. Another question I think I'll pass on to both you and Vanessa. A question is, what else do you think people should look out for besides technical ability and experience within an interview setting for junior roles within this field?
Within an interview setting.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What should people look out for besides technical ability and experience to, like, in terms of like in an interview, I've got the technical experience, I've got the ability to do this role. What other kind of skills can I show off to be able to land a job in this field?
Okay, so when you're on an interview for a company, it's very important that you do your research about the company beforehand. So a skill that you can show off is communication skills and your ability to do research. That's very important. It shows your interest in the company as well. Don't just turn up to the company without knowing anything about them. So try to do research into like recent news about them. Like, it's literally easy to just Google them, go on the news section and try and see what have they been working on. So being able to communicate is very important as well. Communicate what kind of value you add to the company. And also the way you present yourself is very important. It's a skill as well. The way you have to be confident is a skill. I think if you're not confident, it can look like you don't know what you're talking about, even though you have the experience. So it's very important that you're able to speak clearly, confidently, and communication it's also a skill as well. But yeah, that's all I can think of apart from experience and technical skills. Vanessa, do you think of anything else?
Yeah, I agree with what you've said. Also, I would say, guys, have some sort of personality. I could have had a job for you guys today, but I would have given it to Khalid and Essay. That's who I would have given it to because they put on their cameras. Like literally just because of that. Not saying it's that deep, but that already, like, I'm not gonna forget you guys, sort of thing. So it's like you need to have personality. People want to work with people that they want to get along with. People don't like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Culture. So if you know what the culture is, show that culture in your interview. If you're talking to a man that you saw on LinkedIn posted about the football the other day, like, oh yeah, did you watch the match stuff? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? You have to have some sort of common things in common. You talk about it. If you're from the same country, oh yeah, me too. You need to catch the vibe off of people. So you go with their vibe. I am, guys, I'm very chilled. I'm so chilled. I'm like so chilled. But in interviews, I have to do the most. I pretend like I care. You have to do it sometimes. Oh yeah, no, the weather. You know, those things you have to show it. If you know this person likes to travel, talk about the holiday that you just came from. You know, those sort of things. That's they want to be able to like have like good time with people that work with them in the office. Most times, guys, and this is the truth, they will pick the person because they just like them better. Doesn't even mean they can do the job. They're just choosing them because they actually get on with them better, because they know that on Monday they're gonna have a good conversation with them. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if it's not just that part you want to show, you know, that fun personality side, and just do that till you pass your probation, then you can be your real self. Literally. Go.
Sorry, Vanessa, what you said is very correct, because I asked my manager after I got the job, after I got hired, I asked him one of the questions, like, what did he use to vet people to hire? And he said that one of the questions they always have on their sheet of paper that they're marking off is, the last question was, would you go to the pub with this person, with this candidate? If you tick yes, then they'll hire you. If they tick no, then the chances that they're not going to hire you because of your personality. If they're comfortable enough to go to the pub with you, just the two of you go to the pub, have a conversation, then they're more likely to hire you than someone that they're not comfortable with. Because they can't work with people they're not comfortable with.
100%. Yeah.
That is actually so insightful. Vanessa?
I will say take interviews as a conversation and interview the person as well. Like, talk to them. And you, what do you think? You know, make it a conversation. If it's a conversation, then your interview is probably going like good, you know, because we're talking. They will even forget the questions they need to ask you and be like, oh, time is up. But I know I like this person, you know, and that is it, guys. That is another trick. Please, if it's very, you're just wasting your time as well, you know.
That's really good. And one more question would be, what is the most challenging part of your role for both Vanessa and you as well?
People, project management, people. So for me, it's people.
People, because work with people. So yeah, that's true. I was just gonna say, I'm the youngest in my team. So basically, I work at HSBC, right? It's a global company. Most of my employees have been there 20, 30 years. Even before I was born, they've been working there. So trying to find things in common can be a bit of a challenge, especially when their kids are my age. And it's like, talking about kids, like I can't really relate, which is one of the difficult things like I've found. So I try to find things like hobbies and things of having in common, other interests, to try to, you know, find that common ground. But the most challenging part, I would say, is having people that are significantly older than you and have way more experience, whereas I'm still like new. I'm still, you know, I've been here 3 months and I'm still finding my feet. So to tackle that, I try to find out hobbies and things we have in common interests. Also, I asked them to help. I asked if I can shadow them, if I can learn from them, if I can have one-to-ones to kind of build that connection and kind of network. But yeah, that's the biggest challenge, I would say. What about yourself, Vanessa?
No, now that you said that, that has definitely been one of mine. Always being the youngest, always being the only female, and being Black. Like all of them in one has been, funny enough. Yeah, that has been a challenge. But I don't know, it's been a challenge, but it's not been a challenge. I don't like to see it that way. I really don't. I don't like to play that card or anything like that. And I think that's what gets me far in life. I don't want pity. I don't need that sort of thing. I'm not here trying to be the first Black woman to do something. Like at the end, like just be good at what you do and do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's gonna get you respect. I worked with, like, I speak to the adults the way that I'm not being mean, but I speak to them with us. You have to be assertive. So even in your interviews, you have to show assertiveness. Like show it in some sort of way, in the way that you speak. That's eye contact. That's even asking them the question, right? What do you like? Do you know what I mean? Those sort of things, the way you end and start your conversations and stuff like that, that shows assertiveness. And I think that's something that I've obviously had to learn, how to speak with older people without coming across dumb, and things like that. But honestly, the best way to get with it is to be inquisitive. I think that's the best way I was able to like overcome a lot of the things, is by just asking questions. They actually say no question is a dumb question. There are some that are, but you have to ask it anyway. Otherwise, they're going to take it as if you're not interested. And I've had to learn the hard way, because I don't like to ask questions. I will go and find the answer myself, but they hate it. So I think that's when you're starting your career. But now I'm not asking questions, like things like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I'll definitely say that was one thing that was hard for me. But you have to own it and just know that they don't know what they're doing. So the same way you don't know what you don't know, they don't know. You have to just convince. That's it. When in your meetings, guys, and they ask you something, like, let's take this offline, or I'll get back to you. Like, take control of things. I don't need to answer you right now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Don't try and take ownership of situations. Oh, but what's this? Let me get back to you on that, okay? Like literally, what they're gonna do? Fight you? So, oh, we need it now. Okay, well, let me come off and I'll come back. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Take it. And I think you will learn that, but don't be afraid to put yourself in those situations, and don't be afraid to be like that. That's how the workplace is, and it's not rude. They won't take it as rude, especially if you're young.
Thank you so much. Another question quickly in the chat. How do you overcome imposter syndrome?
Oh, actually,
go on. I chat too much. Go, please.
I actually had imposter syndrome when I was in uni. During my internship, I went to Cambridge, the University of Cambridge, right? And I was surrounded by, I don't want to say geniuses, but people that were way smarter than me. And they were all very passionate about it. And I can't lie, a part of me, I was like, do I belong here? I don't think this is right for me. But one thing I realized is that it's all in my head. It was all in my head, right? These people don't know who I am. They saw me as a normal person. Like, I realized that I just lacked self-confidence. So I decided to work on my confidence and build it slowly by asking questions, actually learning what I'm doing, because I didn't know anything. The reason why I had imposter syndrome was because I didn't know much. So I decided to gain knowledge. By gaining knowledge, you gain confidence. By gaining confidence, the imposter syndrome slowly fades. It takes time, but it will slowly leave. So when you gain confidence, you know what you're talking about, and it's you just feel normal. So that's how it worked for me. I felt that way because I didn't know much. So I did research and I learned, and I gained confidence from gaining knowledge. So yeah, that's for me.
She said it. You stop. You don't get imposter syndrome when you're no longer the imposter. That is it. That is literally it. Because now you're in it. That's the only way. So until you're confident, like you feel, yes, this is what I am. I am a project manager. I've been doing this for X amount of years. I've done this and that. You lose it. So until then, you will always be the imposter, right? But I'm saying, yeah, she said it, man. She said it, guys. Literally, until you're no longer an imposter. But that's how you deal with imposter syndrome.
Yes, thank you so much. And just off the back of that, do you currently work with one of our employers, HSBC? And we currently have some opportunities with them, some paid insight programs. Like Vanessa and you said, you need to be proactive to get these opportunities, to learn, to get experiences. So these internships and these insight programs are here for you guys to be able to do that and get these opportunities. I just put the link in the chat so you guys can have a look at it. Would you like to say a few words about the program you're on and kind of what you're doing and how it's helped you so far?
Absolutely. So One thing I wish I did during my uni was actually attend insight programs. There are a lot of insight programs. It's like a couple weeks during April. Usually that's the time period for insight programs. They're very useful in they help you gain internships. If you get an internship with HSBC, getting a grad role is not a problem. So I didn't do an internship with HSBC. I applied for the grad role after I graduated through the traditional way, but it was more difficult than people that did internships. If you did an internship, it was almost guaranteed that you got a grad role. So about the grad role, the application process, I had to submit my CV. I had to fill out some forms. I had an interview. I had a virtual interview day. I had to answer some questions. So a tip I would say for that is to do research. So what I did the day before was I got recent news on what the CEO of HSBC was doing. I watched a YouTube clip, 10-minute YouTube clip of him talking about the most recent technological advances. I made notes on that. When the interview came, they asked me, "Oh, why do you want to work for us?" I just basically spoke about the YouTube clip I watched the day before, and I spoke about what the CEO was working on. Oh, she's done research. She knows what she knows about the company. So I would just say to do research about the company, and make notes on what they're currently working on. Also tailor your CV to the grad role you're applying for. Don't just use the same CV for different roles from different industries. It doesn't work like that. Make sure it's tailored for the field that you want to work for. Because sometimes they screen CVs automatically. It's actually done digitally. Like people don't actually read your CV. Sometimes it's screened automatically. They look for keywords. So make sure you have the keywords that they're looking for when it comes to tech, like coding, the experiences, highlight the things that you've done in your CV as well. And then when it comes to when they ask you why do you want this role? Don't write one sentence. Some people write a paragraph, like a sentence, and they think it's okay. Actually sell yourself in that section of the application process. Don't just be wishy-washy, like actually go into detail about what you've done, why I'm the best fit for this role, and it really increases your chances of success. So that's what I did when I was applying. I took my time and I really filled out every text box in detail. I tailored my CV to the role I was applying for as well. And I had a different CV for different companies. So have these CVs tailored for the company that you want to apply for. And then that's what I would say.
Thank you so much for that. I've also put the link again in the chat. Applications are open. I want to say a big thank you to our speakers, Vanessa and Dee, for such another insightful program. So many gems, so many key learnings that we can all take away. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful evening and hope to see you guys soon in the next one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right.